I'll call to order the October 12th, 2021 Human Relations Commission meeting. I'd like to start by asking staff for verification of the Kansas Open Meeting Act requirements and notices have been properly provided. Okay. Hearing that they are, I will then move to our agenda item 2.1, roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Burchell.
Present.
Commissioner Grinter. Commissioner Godsey.
Present.
Commissioner Canales. Commissioner Elric. Commissioner Rivers.
Here.
And Commissioner Schutte. Lori, I think you're still muted. Oh, do I need to mute from this side?
How's that?
There we go. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Schutte.
Schutte. Okay. All right.
And that's okay. And I am here, Marissa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With the roll call, I will then move to agenda item 3.1, approval of the minutes of the April 13th, 2021 regular meeting. I need a motion to approve those minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. The minutes from the April 13th, 2021 regular meeting will stand approved. That takes us to new business, starting with actually some of the fun stuff, introductions, including a new commissioner to our ranks. So would the staff like to introduce our new commissioner, please?
Jessica Elrich, I'm not sure, but I don't see that she made it to the meeting. She was one that was an iffy, and it doesn't look like she's on unless I'm reading the names wrong. Jessica doesn't appear to be with us.
Okay, we're engaging in a hybrid meeting here, so yeah, if I'm not looking in camera, it's because I'm trying to see who we have joining us.
You didn't have her on the roll, did you? So she is not with us. We'll have to introduce her next time.
Okay, so we do have a new commissioner joining us. However, we also have some new community relations staff members who have already met, but I'd like them to introduce themselves as well.
I guess I'll go first. I'm Michelle Martin. I'm the new community relations supervisor. And I'll pass it on back. And we have with us the other two specialists with us today, if they want to say hello.
I'm Spencer Ingermanson, and I'm a community relations specialist.
My name is Marissa Patton, and I'm also a community relations specialist.
And Marissa will be the assigned staff clerk for this board.
Okay, and I have had a chance to meet Marissa, Spencer, and Michelle earlier, and I think I feel much more comfortable that I'm in capable hands because I need some capable hands behind me. So welcome to the city office. We appreciate you having on board, and thank you for joining us. That will take us then to our agenda item 4.2, department update. So can we have our department update, please?
Thank you, Commissioner Burchell. This is Lauren Driscoll, Director of Community and Development Services for the city. I want to take this opportunity since we do have new staff members. We have had kind of an interesting few months. Not the kind of thing that happens every day, but I do think COVID has brought on some interesting situations.
Getting technical assistance. There we go. Sorry, I apologize for that. Like many organizations, COVID has brought about some unique situations. If you haven't heard of, the Great Resignation, I can tell you our department has had a turnover. We have a department of 10 people in the last 18 months, and 8 of those are retirements. I think everybody got a little idea of what retirement might be like at home with COVID, and suddenly it was very popular. So we've had some unique experiences, but also I'm always happy for some of our staff members who have found, dream jobs and new opportunities, and that's definitely part of their career path and something we support, but always kind of a bummer when they don't get to stay with us. But that kind of all coalesced with, we had a vacancy in the Community Relations Division, and then 2 positions where folks moved on, and by June 4th, we had a completely empty Community Relations Division. So as you're well aware, these are not easy positions to fill. Trying to find people who have the backgrounds, the skill set, and the emotional skill level to kind of handle the challenges of these positions is very difficult. And I can tell you, having been here for 4 years now, this division's kind of had an identity crisis. And for those of you who are more familiar with the city, and this division was once a department, and it's had a lot of different roles, and it has a lot of different expectations placed on it. And I think as I've talked to different members of staff who have left about the roles and about the positions and that division, like, what are some of the challenges and things that we try to look at when we go to hire for these positions? How can we have greater success? One of those is that, especially in the last 12 to 24 months, everybody wants the Community Relations Division to be all things to all people. And I had a conversation with the City Commission June 21st, and really kind of had to remind myself, had to remind them, and have a conversation about what is community relations and what's its core purpose beyond some of these other things that we like to associate with it. And this is kind of a good reminder for those folks who are newer to Human Relations Commission that really Chapter 13 is at the sole function of what we do, and that's addressing the cases, intake, investigation, mediation, or litigation related to fair housing, related to equal opportunity employment, and public accommodation. And then beyond Chapter 13, we have our contractual relationship with HUD as a fair housing assistance program, which then has some requirements where we do public outreach and education efforts and some of those things, also requiring education and training of our own staff. And it was kind of trying to bring that all back together and looking at how we were going to set new staff up for success. I talked to former supervisors of the division, former staff members beyond those that had worked for me to understand, what could we do to set them off on the right foot? And what I consistently heard was, you need to make sure your base is solid. Make sure that the case intake process and that just focus on the cases at first, rather than trying to kind of do all these other things. And so Michelle came on she started part-time August, what did we say, 10th?
10th.
August 10th. She's been full-time since 10/1, so October 1st. And a little bit about Michelle, she's actually an attorney, and Michelle actually had to wind down her own private practice to come work for us, so we were happy to get her as quick as we could get her, but understood she had some things to move around. But her experience in, particularly in doing employment law and HR law, is helpful. Her experience working in the community, she worked for Catholic Charities for 7
years.
7 years. So also working with the nonprofit community and the needs associated with those, we found to be a particularly excellent skill set for the office, along with Michelle's experience as a manager and a leader, was definitely what we needed, and happy to have her here doing that. And really the expectation that I'm kind of setting out there, that I've talked about with the City Commission, is getting the right people here, getting them trained. They've actually been in the office, like I said, since August, and then Marissa and Spencer started, a week or so later. Is just getting them trained, just getting the office cleaned out, just getting the filing system set out. Rarely does life bring you an opportunity where you can kind of pause for a moment and get to some of those things, and we had that opportunity, so I was willing to take it. And so it gave us a chance to, Michelle brought some excellent experience with digitizing our case management. And so we were able to get that set up, and both Marissa and Spencer have some awesome Excel skills. So they set up some great trackers for things, data and information we wanted to track. And then everybody's been going through kind of the first waves of training with HUD, which is critical. I mean, and you kind of go through in a cohort, there's like a series of 4 major ones they're going to need to get through. So they have others to go through, but enough to get us started. Also getting some training in-house about board and commissions and other things like that. Michelle's going to tell you a little bit about, the next few months, but just appreciate the commission's opportunity for them to learn, and we're excited to have kind of this opportunity to kind of start fresh and really going to focus on like what is our core purpose. We're still going to do fair housing seminar in the spring, but
Good.
I'm kind of keeping them close to home until we kind of figure out, make sure what we can do in the core of what we do is done well. And then we can start adding things on top of that and having that discussion about where do we branch out more. So, Michelle?
With that, Lauren did an excellent job of laying the foundation, but just to add a few things to that, my primary focus has been policies, kind of documenting. We had with a complete turnover, you learn, it's been an experience of what you don't know, what you take for granted a little bit that someone else will show you, like where your fax goes.
Yeah.
Things like that. So policies and trying to leave a trail for the next person, because I could be hit by a bus tomorrow. I don't like to think about that. Or I could win the lottery or something. So given that, I want to make sure that we leave it better than what we found it and make it easier for someone if they had to step into these shoes. Again, they know the trail. So often what happens in every place I've been before, too, you don't always have the opportunity. You that's something you put on the burner. I'll write down what I do later, but you don't always get to later. So we've been trying very hard to come up with policies and protocols that document what we do and look through what they've done in the past. Not that anyone has done anything wrong, they just don't always write it down. So that's been our primary focus. And then our other big goal was to have people again. And we want us to be a community service to individuals. I think all of us in this office are very inclined to help others. And when your door's closed a little bit, you don't feel like you're helping. So we are very excited to be open. October 4th was our first official day open, if you saw the press release. So that part of it, we're still working on the policies and procedures and now implementing them and getting to test them as people come in. We'll make some tweaks. But that's been our biggest focus probably through the end of the year. I would say that will be our biggest focus, to go back and tweak your policies once you start implementing them. Writing down what you do, figuring out what you do. And hopefully by the end of December, we should all 3 have completed all the HUD trainings. There are 3 big sessions. There's a 4th optional one. I know we're at least enrolled in all 3 of them. So that's been our focus, the training, the policies, documenting, working very hard, and working with all of Lauren's team, because they all are integral as far as they all work together and learning what they do and how it complements us. But I think that's been our biggest focus through the end of the year. And then my goal is to have kind of a marketing plan drafted and give to Lauren so that we can know where we're going and be purposeful, so that it complements Chapter 13 and what we're assigned to do, and that we have that marketing and outreach. Like the fair housing is a perfect example. It fits perfectly into what we're assigned to do under Chapter 13. Housing is the focus. I've been blessed to attend that seminar several times in the past. I found it extremely useful. And, so I think that's definitely, but what else can we complement with that? What other types of seminars, what other types of outreach? But being mindful, and I think sometimes when you get pulled in a lot of directions, you want to help everyone, so you just kind of get pulled. But having a plan and kind of coming up with that, kind of a written, more thoughtful, mindful plan for 2022, with emphasis on the housing seminar. So that's kind of where I see it going over the next few months. I don't know if anyone has any questions about that.
We did actually do outreach even when the office was empty. I did manage to get billboards put up.
Yes.
So we had 2 billboards in town, one in Spanish and one in English, related to fair housing.
And we've seen them and they look good. We were impressed, so.
Well, and for the commission's information, so any cases that we had that were active were waived to HUD. Some we finished up and moved. And then we took all of our resources online and did an auto direct to HUD. So you didn't have to call the office to then get reshuffled. You went right to their page. So it wasn't perfect, but we still had resources out there for folks, especially when it came to housing and trying to get them to still be able, if complaints needed to be made, that was a resource that was out there during these months when the office was closed.
Was there an uptick or even downtick of cases?
I don't know if I can accurately answer that because HUD would have automatically gotten them rather than them coming through us because we basically applied to HUD and asked for a waiver and we had till October 1st to not take cases while we hired staff and trained staff and we made it on time.
And that relationship that we have with HUD is fairly unique in Kansas. But, yeah, Lauren, I thank you so much. I know we were all learning during COVID period and saw changes across, but with my visits with the new staff, I think I appreciate your leadership. I think you picked a great team for us, so thank you
lucky.
so much. Really appreciate it. That takes us to agenda item 4.3, elections of officers. This commission needs a chair and a vice chair. And just to make sure we understand, should the occasion arise between meetings, one of the jobs of the chair may include signing off for some requests for documents through subpoenas and some other updates on a regular basis. But we do need to have a chair and a vice chair as, and I smiled, Michelle, when you said it. I've always have a backup plan. I always thought that, I always get worried about getting hit by a beer truck is always what my mind is what I see. Crossing the street, not paying attention.
A lot of buses and beer trucks.
Yeah, so yeah, you're never sure. So it always helps to have, and we want to make sure that we have an election that includes a chair and a vice chair. So I would like to open it up to the full commission. Is there a nomination for chair for the Human Relations Commission?
I
Someone's gonna-
nominate John Burchell.
I second that.
Are there any other nominations? I should have said a railroad instead of a beer truck, but any other nominations? Hearing none, then I would entertain a motion. I'm going to do this a little, it may seem a little odd, but I'm going to entertain a motion to stop nominations. Is there a motion to stop nominations? Someone?
Yeah, I motion this.
Okay, there's a motion to stop nominations. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor of closing nominations for chair signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, is there a motion, or, well, the election is, to do this formally, all those in favor of John Burchell as chairman for the Human Relations Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Then that carries. Now we need a nomination for a vice chair. Is there a nomination for vice chair?
I would nominate Chris Grinter.
There's a nomination for Chris. Are there any other nominations? Is Chris with us this evening?
I think so.
Yes.
I am.
Now's your time to speak up.
I appreciate the nomination. That is fantastic.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? I'll entertain a motion to close nominations for vice chair.
I move to close nominations for vice chair.
There's a motion to close nominations for vice chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second to close nominations for vice chair. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, Now, to make this formal, a motion for the election of Chris as vice chair. We have that, the nomination. We now need to make the election official. So a motion to make Chris vice chair.
I move to make Chris vice chair.
Motion made. Is there a second? We need a second to the.
Second.
Second. I hear a motion and a second for Chris as vice chair. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Chris, congratulations. You're now the vice chair. That takes us to agenda item 5.1, future meetings. Now, traditionally, we've met on even-numbered months.
Yes. If I might,
Yes.
Commissioner Burchell.
Please.
With that, I would like to say that what I understand is that during COVID, there was a special exception that we moved from historically being monthly to every other
Every
month on
other,
even
yes.
months, but that exception has expired. So I wanted to discuss and remind the commission that we would be going back to monthly meetings, which would put the next meeting at November 9th at 5:30, and then December 14th at 5:30, which would be the even month. And then that would take us through the end of the year for the next two meetings. But I wanted to be on record of saying and reminding everyone that special COVID exception has expired, so we're back to monthly meetings.
Okay, thank you very much. And to repeat that, so we're all clear, our next meeting would be November 9th and then December 14th.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to make sure I got that right.
And then along with that, we will also take this opportunity, if I might, Commissioner
Please.
Burchell, to go ahead and talk about the study sessions that we need to do at
Yes,
future meetings. We need to have a quorum in order to have a study session, and we wanted to get a feel for this body, whether or not you wanted to have that before. Typically, we do them just before the meeting or just after the meeting, and what would be better for individuals for those study sessions, so that we can do our annual training and welcoming of new commissioners and make sure everyone's had the annual training.
And then I think we typically do a training that talks a little bit about Chapter 13, and then also just a refresher, we all need it, is a refresher on like case intake and what as reviewers you guys are looking at, and just kind of putting context into that decision process. So we would do that training as well. So at a minimum, I think you've got 2 trainings that we need to get through, ideally before the end of the year. So if you've got
Certainly.
your November one coming up, I think Michelle was telling me the feedback she got was that 4 o'clock is difficult for folks who are still at work. So what we could do is you could have your regular meeting, and then upon adjournment, you would go right into a study session. And just for everybody's information, we don't typically do study sessions via Zoom, and we don't necessarily video them. That's, where the body's taking action is where we want to make sure that that's getting videoed and people can get in. But if the commissioners need to Zoom in, just letting staff know ahead of time so that's kind of part of that would be great. It's still not going to be videoed, but I just make sure that we've got meeting stuff set up for a study session following.
Yes, and I would agree that it's also beneficial for those of us continuing. There's so much out there to keep up with, and honestly, I learn something every time. So, yeah, so what would be the best way for the commission to get this scheduled? Should we contact Michelle, or is that something we can get in a consensus this evening? I have no problem. I understand the majority does, but either way, so I'm glad at staying after adjournment on the 9th. Is that possible for the other commissioners?
I can work that out as well.
Others?
I do have a question.
Yes.
First of all, are we expected to be in person at these meetings? I mean, is it okay to come into the city county building and do this? I mean,
Totally.
either way is all right with me.
No,
I just kind of need to know.
Commissioner Schutte, the answer is if you're gonna Zoom for a study session, it's just, that's not something we typically do Zoom on. Usually they're more of an educational learning situation, but if the body's telling us, yeah, it's just, if you want me to be here for both, I really need to have that Zoom access, then we can make that available.
Okay. How long does a study session take? I'm new to this.
So the new commissioner orientation, I can do in under an hour. It's probably, how did I do earlier? I was, what, 45 minutes, Spencer? We also have building advisory board today who had theirs, so. About 45 minutes, so we can do new commissioner orientation, and just, and I appreciate what Commissioner Burchill is saying. You know, we have to remind ourselves that you guys are volunteers all the time and not doing this every day. And so there are things that we talk about in orientation that sometimes is even relevant to new case law since the last time we gave the presentation. So it really addresses things like KOMA, you know, making quorum, expectations of board and commission members and staff, that kind of thing. So we can do that in 45 minutes. And then the other training that's more case specific and gets into kind of, you know, prima facie and the other things you need to be remembering when you're reviewing the cases, which is critical if you haven't been through that, is probably closer to an hour and a half to 2. But it's big and chunky, but it's pretty critical to do in your job too, especially if you're doing case review.
So what I'm hearing you say is that on the 9th, after the meeting at 5:30, we will be doing
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay? And that would be probably easier to do in person.
I can do the 45-minute one. It's a PowerPoint. We can always do screen sharing.
Oh, Lord, no.
All right,
No.
I hear you saying that you want to come in.
That is exactly what you are hearing me say.
Okay.
That is exactly. And then on the 14th of December, are we looking at the 2-hour chunk?
I mean, it's up to you guys as a body. I mean, we could probably narrow it down to an hour and a half. And if you guys want to break that up.
Okay, can we do it 1 month, 1 hour, 1 month, 1 hour?
Yeah, the other thing is you could also call a special meeting if you guys want to do 2 meetings in December or a meeting towards the end of November. It's just kind of hard because the last 2 months are these big holiday months.
Yeah.
So it's hard to squeeze another in. Yeah, I mean, that's up to the body. If you guys want to break them up, we can break them up. Or if you want to just kind of get it done, we can get it done. And Laura, you want to do that, Commissioner Schutte, you want to do that on Zoom, right?
No, I think I'm going to come in from now on.
Okay.
I don't want any more technology than I have to do.
Fair. I have those same feelings lately.
So, okay, and what room are we in at the city county building?
We are in the City County Commission room down in 107, where city commission meetings happen.
Room 107. Okay.
Good questions, thank you. Are there any others from the commission? Any other input?
Well, for me personally, 2 hours is a long time after a meeting. So I guess I'm saying that I would prefer maybe to break it up. And yes, I agree that, you know, the holiday months, that's tough. Can we postpone it till the beginning of the year?
Or how about we take a piece of it and add it to the 45-minute orientation? Could we break that up, bifurcate that somehow?
I think for the connection of the information,
Okay.
it will probably, 15 minutes is not necessarily enough to dig in.
Well, you know, maybe we need to go, over. I mean, could we
Yeah,
do
so
like
you want to do a little
30?
bit more in November?
Sure. If you did an hour and a half,
half.
hour and a half, or something along those lines.
Yeah. I mean,
We
we
can
could
make it
probably work that. Yeah. That would get everybody through it before the end of the year, which I think having that information as cases start getting pushed out and as the office doors
Yeah.
are open again, I just want everybody on the body to be comfortable and ready to review cases. Because if some of you remember, I mean,
Yeah.
we had a lot of cases coming in and out the
Yes.
door. And if I have some of you that aren't ready, then it's hard for staff to kind of find 3 of you available to review.
And that's my concern, is I don't always want to be one of the 3
Yeah.
until everybody else gets trained. So I'm
Yeah.
saying this for a little selfish reasons here. But yeah, if we could look at extending that to an hour and a half maybe on both days and
And doing them after.
yes. Does the rest of the commission agree that that might be a compromise?
Yeah.
I think that's a very good compromise.
Good, an hour and a
Okay.
half each time.
We can make that work.
Okay, so
I will bring cookies.
you heard it here, folks. She's bringing cookies.
Boy, attendance just went up dramatically. It's, any other comments on our future meetings and study sessions? One more time, then we will have our regular meeting on November 9th to be followed with a study session of about an hour and a half, give or take. And then our next meeting for the year will be December 14th, again followed by a study session. With no other comments, I'll move us to agenda item 5.2, board binders. It's hard to say it.
Alliteration.
Yeah.
May I have the floor?
Please.
With that, I would just, we know we've kept the binders for the commissioners for some time. We had a lot of them that, from previous commissioners that we found. We are wanting to know if they're helpful for you, if you feel like you need them, if we have the packets. And I noticed some of you carry them with you. We send them electronically. Do you still need us to maintain the binders? Do you find them useful? We would like a little bit of feedback from the commission if we need to still maintain those and bring them to the commission meetings.
Commissioners?
I'm good with electronic copies of things. I think it's probably less stuff for you guys to have to lug around. So I'm good electronic.
We'll have copies of just the packets that are current each time here. We'll always make copies to have available for any public members that attend and people here at the meeting. But it's just those thick binders that had your names on them and
Right.
tended to accumulate over the years.
Well, it looked like staff was collecting those, putting your packets in them, and then you, by the end of the year, would have a stack of all those previous packets. And Michelle and I were just kind of talking, and we just weren't sure if that was something that you really wanted or needed. If it is, I mean, that's our job, is to help you
Right.
have the resources you need to conduct business. But if it's not, we thought this would be a good opportunity to ask.
Yeah, I had copies sent of all the resource materials in there that I often refer to when looking at cases, but I have those electronically and printed out, and I think those were helpful, but it didn't help me to have it printed here. I mean, because that's, most of my binder was that resource material.
Okay.
Is there a way to put that resource material on like a SharePoint
We
or
could do like a sync, one of
community
those sync
page?
folders.
Yeah, well, there are several opportunities, and we can discuss that and bring forth another alternative for those, and even just having a resource, like a smaller binder for anyone that has the resources in it, the Chapter 13 or anything else that you found useful for using and evaluating cases. We could put something like that together electronically and maybe have one bound copy here or bring a couple copies in of that information that didn't just come. It seems like what happens, and I've been on boards where I've happened to do the same thing. You get a binder and you just keep kind of shoving things in. You don't really always use it. You just use it as a place for storage and not necessarily a useful tool. But we would try and work with you to make it a useful tool. We want it to be as useful as possible for everyone. And electronic would be a great way. We were just discussing, there's an option, and I think.
Yeah, you guys use sync already for your cases, for case
Yes.
review.
Yeah,
Staff
we could
drops
put
them
it
into
in
those
there.
files. I mean, we could just add a new sync file that you all have access to, and that would have those basic resources if that was simpler.
That would be great for me.
Okay.
Okay,
Other
see-
commissioners, does that meet with your approval?
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to have everything electronic and just at your fingertips. And it would be, as long as so you're saying that we can have a actual copy when we come to the meetings
Of the packet, yes, ma'am.
of the packet? Okay, that you send to us electronically before?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Then I'm hearing a consensus to look towards a electronic repository of the reference materials and with sync or something similar to that, and maybe just some copies of the current meeting packet available.
That would be excellent.
Okay, very good. Then that takes us to agenda item 5.3, status of a Kansas Open Meetings Act complaint.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. I did want to bring to your attention something that we're working through right now. A complaint was made to the Attorney General's office on 7/22. That complaint was then sent to us and received by the city on September 15th. The complaint noted that the February meeting of the Human Relations Commission had the incorrect Zoom link published versus the meeting link that was actually used. The easiest way to explain it is you'll notice that Zoom links have a meeting ID at the end of them. The same way you'll see on our cover page when you see the phone number, there's a meeting ID. Basically, what happened in the February meeting was the Zoom link had the meeting ID that belongs to Accessibility Advisory Board, not the Human Relations Commission. The phone number, on the other hand, did have the correct HRC or Human Relations Commission meeting identification.
And if I
What-
recall, there's the hint pages too, so.
Correct. We
if
have a
there's
Zoom
problems,
helpful
you're
hint.
directed to call the number.
Yes. And the individual did seek out a staff member who's no longer here. And I think the request was that they weren't able to log into the meeting, but not that the meeting wasn't open.
Right.
And that was also not brought to my attention, so it seemed like between the two individuals, when looking at the emails historically, like there was a miscommunication. And they resolved that by saying, here's our phone number if you need to get hold of us, because they did email during the meeting in which staff was busy hosting the meeting and wasn't able to immediately respond. For those of you who haven't gone through a complaint like this, you basically get a series of questions from the Attorney General's office that are basically asking you, how did this happen? What are you doing to fix it? And, sorry, there's a fruit fly. What are you doing to fix it? And how will you ensure it doesn't happen again? And so we've been going through that, historically pulling that information. There are 5 commissioners currently on the board that we will need to be reaching out to with a packet of information that we've pulled together. We'll bring this forward to the commission at a later meeting, but these individuals will need to reach out to and basically provide what we're providing to the Attorney General's office, along with a standardized statement that each of you will need to read and decide how you want to respond to as commissioners who are part of that meeting, recognizing that when we read that statement at the beginning of the meeting about is the Open Meeting Act been appropriately advertised and made available, that's both us and the commission agreeing that that's been available. And it's, Commissioner Burchill, you mentioned Zoom and the technology and what we've had to learn over the last few months. In analyzing this problem, I think what we learned is that we're almost too helpful with the information. Our biggest concern was that citizens were able to find the information and get on successfully. And we had it in a lot of different pieces of information. And by law, KOMA says, and it's kind of interesting because I've worked in other states, so this is probably one of the most vague open meeting acts I've ever had to work under. It basically says, if you want to be notified about a meeting, we will put you on a list and we will give you notice. Ta-da. And it's not like it shall be placed here, it has to be this many days. I mean, it's pretty simple. If we have to maintain a list that people can get on, and then we have to respond to those on the list with notification. And so technically, even the agenda isn't required. You could have an open public meeting and not have to have an agenda, but you had to have notified those people on the list. And so in the midst of COVID and Zoom, we also had a change in the city clerk. And so staff prepares the packet, and then we hand that to the city clerk's office, which then posts it electronically to a software called QNotify. And part of that posting is they take your packet materials and put them into a digital folder, kind of like your sync folder, but it's linked to this system. And then they create like a notification that goes out. Well, in analyzing, and you'll see this when we prepare the information, but you can see the notices are kind of different. You know, this clerk, this deputy clerk, this new clerk, they're all a little different in how they provided the information. Our packets are fairly succinct, but that's different. We also found that we tried to standardize that information, but once that one link was wrong, it didn't show up in your March meeting because you guys had a special meeting to elect folks to the, I think it's the Police and,
Commission, yeah, the
Yes, I can't-
Citizens Review Board.
yes, the Citizen Review Board, thank you. But then the problem showed up again in April. So I'm looking this as a silver lining to know, okay, one, how do we check these things? Because I saw the notice come through, which means in my mind, I saw that the notice went out. And then the second thing was that I knew from staff that a meeting had occurred and there was enough quorum. But that's clearly not enough, and that's our learning from this. So staff has rallied behind this. We already had training planned for all of our new staff members, and then before this even occurred, everybody who was on staff, Marissa and Spencer weren't here yet, but we run 7 boards and commissions as a department.
Wow.
So there's not 1 week that goes by that we don't have a public meeting or a packet or 2 or 3 going out the door. So this is a pretty high priority for us and something we put a lot of training time into. So we already we attended the Kansas Municipal League's KOMA training as staff ourselves in August and had already prepared that the annual training that we give you guys would reflect more of what we learned to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then this came along. And mind you, this is about the February meeting. So we had no idea until September that this was an issue. And then upon finding that out, digging through the information in response to the AG's office, we've written a new policy, a board packet and packet preparation policy that not only identifies that we're all on the same notification that the public is so that we can verify both as a staff liaison and as a clerk, because all of our boards are managed by 2 members of staff, a staff liaison and a clerk, that they both got that notification. And then once those files are prepped that are going to go in the packet, they all have a standardized format now. They've got a standardized titles, so they easily go into Laserfish after the posting. And then we actually talked to QNotify, and our notifications have now been standardized that they include our Zoom information, they include the phone number and everything so that human error can't occur between us, the packet, the clerk. They're just a drop-down menu now. You pick Planning Commission, you get this. You pick Human Relations Commission, you get this. So they're all bundled in there because we didn't want to give up Zoom because we
Right.
think it's an important tool for people to have access to the decision-making process, but we needed to kind of standardize it and eliminate a few things that were causing us problems. So we're actually getting rid of, this is the last time you'll see the cover page. The cover page is gone because the notification is now more standardized. And then the Zoom helpful hints will always be in your packet still for both you and for the public, but we've taken off the information on the top that has your link so that it's just more generic. It's like refer to the agenda or refer to the notification. And then we've revamped the agenda so that the bottom where it talks about where you can view the meeting on Salina-TV, those types of things, it also says how you can access via Zoom. So there's not a random loose piece of paper running around. It's on the agenda, which people tend to flock to and know that that's that kind
Right.
of informational
Right.
source.
Yeah, I'm with you. Mhm.
So that takes care of a lot of that. But then from our perspective too, just to double check, we actually instituted an archiving method, and we're going to audit our own files for our boards and commissions. So our administrative supervisor will go in every 30 days and just go through them all. And we now have kind of a standard audit folder that it's like you have to have these things in there. Then we know, like, the meeting video files in there, the YouTube link is in there, the signed minutes are in there, all these things. And it's like, yep, that's how human error will always occur. It's just, I can't tell you that
Sure.
it's not. But I can tell you, we tried our darndest to be available, open, and all we can do is try and perfect that to make sure that it's not occurring again. And I think we had a lot of really good minds kind of come together. We had some fresh perspective from new employees. I didn't even know you could do this, but you can create these pre-done emails that are actually in files that, since we use Outlook, you can double click on them. It just opens up an Outlook email ready to go with addresses, standardized text. So how we get information out to you guys as a board and commission is standardized. So I'm really proud of our team, and I'm going to try and take this as a silver lining that we did not try to not have an open meeting. It's just some of our extra effort to make sure it was so available kind of got us in trouble because we had some of those links mixed up. And I think we've got everybody on the same page too. We just did an in-house training last Thursday and went through the new policy together. All of our staff who does boards and commissions, including staff liaisons, were there. They've all now convinced me that we need to have a pizza party to talk about parliamentary procedure, which I'm totally cool with. But yes, we've gone through this policy, and they've all had the same presentation for board commission orientation that you guys have had, just reiterating that KOMA relationship, or particularly open meetings in this facet. So in conclusion, one, wanted to make you aware of the situation. And then two, for those of you that were participating in the 2/9/21 HRC meeting, who are still on the board, we will be reaching out to you here literally in the next 24 to 48 hours with a packet of information and this statement for you to review. And if you are able to sign it, it needs to be notarized, and we'll have all these instructions in the email, but it'll need to be notarized, and we have notaries here on staff. Marissa and Michelle are both notaries, and then we've got staff upstairs who are notaries as well. So, I mean, we can find you somebody notarize it if you can come in, or if you have somebody on your own staff or in your own organization who's a notary, you could have it notarized that way. And then any questions and what we submit, we'll be happy to share with the commission following our submittal, so that you can be aware of kind of how this ended up. And we're gonna keep doing our best going forward to make information available and ensure that we're providing an open meeting.
I would just like to say, I think you are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You really are. Keeping all of this straight, trying to appease everyone. It is truly amazing, and thank you very much for your efforts. I can't imagine, I'm just sitting here going, what your desks must look like.
We won't talk about my desk right now. But I
Thank you
appreciate
very
that.
much for all of your efforts. It's greatly appreciated.
Well, I very much appreciate that, and I know our team does. And it is a little frustrating when something like this happens, because there was a lot going on in the spring and trying to switch from Zoom, and then Zoom and phone call-ins and stuff. But I'm really impressed with our team kind of stepping up, and I feel much more comfortable with this policy. And I think we've addressed the issues that the AG's complaint has helped us see and recognize that we can do better.
Sometimes that's the best way to make a policy.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts a little bit, but
Well, and it helped that
it
we.
only hurts pride.
Well, it helped that we made it. We had 2 packets go out the door on Thursday, and so like even since we had it, it was like, oh, what about this? What about this? So I think we're all actively engaged on it. So I agree. Thank you.
Are there any other questions by any of the commissioners? Hearing none, and it's a great segue, that takes us to agenda item number 6, public forum. Do we have a member of the public that would wish to be heard at this time? Yes.
I have something that was submitted, if I might, Commissioner
Please.
Burchell, that was submitted to the office regarding an item, the person is not here, but something that is of interest, I think, to this commission, called the Dana Adams Project.
Yes.
If you haven't, I just wanted to make sure everyone on this commission was aware of it. It's set for, let's see if I can read here with my trifocals, Sunday, October 24th on 2021, which is coming up in about 2 weeks, a little bit. And it's at New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church, 321 North 8th Street. Time is 2 p.m., but it's called Say His Name. It's recalling Dana Adams, a human worthy of that was subjected to injustice and worthy of justice. So they're recognizing the lynching in the history of the Salina area and recognizing him, a symbolic gesture of releasing him to rest and memorializing him in a way. It happened back in 1893, I believe. We did a little research on this, and it was an unfortunate situation. For those of you who like history and can appreciate history, I think it's worth looking into. But it's the Dana Adams Project, and just making sure anyone on the commission, if you want further information, I can provide that to you. But I think it's worth noting, be something worth attending if you're interested.
I covered this several times in some presentations at the Smoky Hill Museum.
Okay.
And Dana Adams pled guilty to a crime. It wasn't, but he was taken from the train and lynched with a crowd of over 300 people, and nobody claimed to recognize anyone. And this young man is mentioned by name in the lynching memorial in the South, and that's not something that I think we like to be known for, but I think it behooves all of us to recognize what happened, to honor this young man and what happened to him, and to ensure, and do this to ensure that it never happens again. And so it's an important concept, and I might add that some members of our community, not that many years ago, raised money to finally put a headstone up for Dana Adams in the cemetery. So yeah, it's a very important concept. I might add that with the newspaper covering of this event, a woman in Nebraska read that, and it encouraged her to start campaigning for the first anti-lynching legislation and pushing for it federally as well. So, I mean, she was so moved by what happened in Salina. So it's an important event, and I would encourage everybody to attend. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Is there any other items for the public forum? Seeing and hearing none, that takes us to the last item of our agenda, item number 7, adjournment. So I hereby adjourn the meeting today. Thank you for your attendance.